Imagine this: a former finance minister of Ghana, one of the most powerful economic figures in the country, now fighting two governments at the same time, the United States and the Republic of Ghana. And instead of returning home to defend himself, he is applying for a permanent residency in America. Why? Because he says if he goes back to Ghana, he will not get a fair trial. This is the explosion legal and political battle involving Kenneth Ofori-Atta, a man who once controlled Ghana's economic direction, now trying to avoid extradition, deportation, and corruption charges. So, the big question are, why does Ghana want him back so badly? And why is the United States involved? And what does this say about Ghana's political systems and justice as well? Well, today I will be breaking down this particular aspect for you one after the other, telling you why he doesn't want to come back to Ghana and why US is involved. Well, welcome to the deep dive on Streetwise Politics. Today, we'll be taking through and be looking at Ken Ofori-Atta's issue, and I'll be giving you a brief of who Ken Ofori-Atta is. Before we go into the details of the story and understand, we need to also understand that the man at the center of it is Kenneth Ofori-Atta, who serves as Ghana's finance minister from 2017 to 2024 under President Nana Akufo-Addo. During that time, he was considered one of the most influential economic policy makers in Ghana. He oversaw Ghana's national budget, international loans and financial negotiations, debt restructuring programs, economic reforms. But his tenure also coincided with one of the most difficult economic periods in Ghana's modern history. The country faced rising debts, rising national debt, and also inflation, high inflation, and currency depreciation. A major IMF bailout programs also comes in, and the critics accused him of mismanaging the economy, while supporters argue that global shocks like COVID-19 and the Ukraine war worsen the crisis. But the economic policy is not the only controversy surrounding him. Now the issue has moved into a critical allegations and international legal battles. Let's take a look at the corruption aspect of Ken Ofori-Atta, the corruption allegations against Ken Ofori-Atta. The authorities in Ghana have reportedly filed multiple corruption-related charges against Ofori-Atta. These allegations revolved around accusation of a financial mismanagement, conflict of interest in government deals, questionable procurement decisions, misuse of state resources. Although the full details of the charges are still being debated publicly, the accusations have been politically explosive. For many critics of the previous government, this case represents something bigger: accountability for political elites. But for Ofori-Atta and his legal team, the situation looks very different. They argue that the charges are politically motivated, and that brings us to the current legal battle: why the US is involved. This is where the story becomes even more complex. According to reports from the international news outlet Semafor, Ofori-Atta is currently facing legal pressure not only from Ghana but also from U.S. authorities. This or his lawyers say there are deportation concerns, extradition requests, ongoing legal proceedings involving U.S. immigration authorities. This means the case has crossed borders and turned into an international legal battle. And instead of preparing to return home, Ofori-Atta has reportedly applied for permanent residency in the United States of America. That decision sends a powerful political message. It suggests he believes remaining in the US may offer him a legal protection. Now, let's take a look at the fair trial argument here. Ofori-Atta's legal team says the main reason he is seeking residency in the US is simple. He fears he cannot get a fair trial in Ghana. This argument is not new in international legal disputes. When someone fights extradition, they often argue that returning to their home country could expose them to political prosecution, biased courts, unfair prosecution, and also in this case, his lawyers claim the corruption charges are being used as a political weapon. Interestingly, one of these legal representatives is Enayat Kasimi, who is now part of the legal team defending him. Their strategies appears to focus on immigration protection and a legal delay while challenging the extradition processes. But Ghana's government sees the situation differently. From their perspective, this is not a political prosecution, it is about holding powerful officials accountable. Let's take a look at the political implications for Ghana. In this case, could have a major consequences for Ghana's politics. Ghana has long been considered as one of the most or one of West Africa's strongest democracies. However, corruption allegations involving top officials have repeatedly raised concerns about governments or governance. If Ken Ofori-Atta successfully avoid extradition by staying in the United States, critics may argue that political elite can escape accountability by leaving the country. But if Ghana succeeds in bringing him back to face trials, the government may present it as a major victory to the fight against corruption. And there is also another layer to his story of Ken Ofori-Atta, who was not a finance minister. He was seen as a key architect of the economic policies of the Akufo-Addo administration. So many trials potentially reopen debates about. Now let's take a look at Ghana's debt crisis, controversial financial deals, and the IMF bailout programs. In other words, this case could turn into a political courtroom battle about the entire economic legacy of a previous government. What happened next? What happened next? And right now, what is going on? Several legal processes may unfold simultaneously. U.S. immigration authorities will decide whether his residency application is accepted. Courts may evaluate whether extradition to Ghana is legal, justified. Diplomatic channels to bring him back. Cases like this can take years to resolve, and during that time, the political narratives can change dramatically. Final thought about this case is that it raises a concern deeper questions. Can be powerful politically truly be held accountable? Can justice systems remain independent in high political cases? And should international legal system protect individuals who claim political prosecutions? For now, the fate of Ken Ofori-Atta rests somewhere between Washington and Accra. Two governments, two legal systems, and one political storm that could reshape the conversation about corruption and accountability in Ghana. So, in simple terms, what we are trying to tell you is that Ken Ofori-Atta, his application for a residency in America is still in the proceedings, and he's still working around the clock to make sure he stay focused, and he's escaping the details or deportation to Ghana. He doesn't want to be deported to Ghana because he thinks if he comes to Ghana, um, the judgment in Ghana system is not going to favor him, no matter how good his lawyer is going to be. is not going to help him. So the best way for him to escape justice in Ghana is to stay in, or is to apply for a residency in America and also escape extradition and also deportation from America to Ghana, whilst the government of Ghana is also pressing the necks and the channels around the clock to make sure Ken Ofori-Atta is being sent back. Now, it all lies on the U.S. immigration authorities, either they are going to accept his application for him to stay in America and continue his life, or they are going to deport him back to Ghana for him to face justice as it expected from Ghanaians as well. So on this channel, we end it here on the deep dive on the streetwise politics. Please do well to subscribe to the channel. Anytime you across, make sure the subscription, you put it on the bell on all. Anytime we publish new story, you'll be able to get access to the latest and update coming in around the world of politics as well. We'll be give you more details in this aspect as time